this is absolutely really sketchy down here.
I don't know if you heard that, but there was definitely something big.
Back in there.
The first video tonight comes from We Do It Outdoors, a US-based outdoor investigation channel focused on reported cryptid activity in rural forests. The content centers on nighttime stakeouts, documenting unusual sounds, environmental disturbances, and possible Bigfoot/Sasquatch signs with minimal theatrical presentation. It is October 25th, 2020 in Salt Fork State Park, Ohio, United States.
Is located. I'm going to sit here until it's completely dark. You can see it's not quite yet dark. And I'm going to wait. Back in there. Just listen. Right back in there.
The investigator begins alone at the site of a previously viral encounter. Equipped with a spotlight, thermal camera, and phone, he positions himself within a 20-acre section of forest, known for repeated sightings and reports. Moving deeper into the forest, snapping branches are heard ahead. Distant howls echo from multiple directions. He discovers several broken trees appearing aligned in a similar direction. While the breaks appear deliberate, natural causes such as storm damage, rot, or falling limbs can produce similar patterns. He documents the findings and continues cautiously, attempting to follow the sound source.
You guys can hear the sticks cracking, branches breaking. There's a howl over there.
The investigator comes across a small structure in the woods and notes a strong, rotten smell in the air. Decomposing organic material, animal remains, or stagnant water can produce intense odors in wooded areas. Low growling sounds are reported, though nothing appears on thermal imaging. Twisted branches and snapped limbs with fresh leaves still attached suggest recent disturbance, though wildlife movement or natural breakage remain possible explanations.
As you guys can hear, the sounds are definitely getting louder. I think I'm going to head back, and I'm going to come back out. Now I know where this is. I'm going to come back out during the day. Because I feel like I'm being, I don't know, kind of corralled down in here. And I don't like that feeling. I want to see if I can get my buddy to come with me.
The growls and forest noises appear to intensify, giving the impression of proximity. The investigator expresses concern about being surrounded and decides to retreat rather than advance further into the dark timber. No visual confirmation of a creature is captured on camera. The encounter relies primarily on environmental signs and audio. Broken trees, howls, growls, an unpleasant odor, and a small woodland structure. No clear visual evidence of a cryptid is obtained. While the activity remains unexplained from the investigator's perspective, each element could potentially be attributed to wildlife behavior, natural forest processes, or environmental acoustics. Nevertheless, the cumulative experience leaves him unsettled. He plans to return during daylight with additional support. The night underscores how remote woodland environments can feel unpredictable and intense, especially when isolation amplifies every sound and movement. Before we move on, if you're enjoying the video so far, leaving a like really helps. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. We recently passed 50,000 subscribers, and that's entirely because of you. The next target is 100,000 before the end of the year. Ambitious, but worth aiming for. There's a hidden word somewhere in this video. See if you can spot it. Now, let's continue. The next horrifying video comes from Miner49ER, a US-based gold prospecting and outdoor exploration creator, documenting hands-on adventures in remote terrain. His content blends practical mining techniques with real-time exploration of abandoned sites, often capturing tense but grounded moments in confined environments. It is May 15th, 2021, in a rural area of the United States, near a state line. Miner49ER initially sets out to scout a remote hunting location, but unexpectedly discovers an old mine entrance. The surrounding landscape is wide and rugged, with hills scarred by past wildfires. As he approaches the opening, he assesses structural stability, noting loose rock and the potential for unstable ground. Before entering, he proceeds cautiously, aware that abandoned mines pose real hazards, including collapses and poor footing.
What is it?
Something in here. Doesn't sound large enough to hurt me, but still large enough to creep me out. I'm worried about a snake.
Inside the mine, faint rustling sounds echo from deeper within the tunnel. The confined space amplifies even minor noises. He suspects a small animal such as a fox or rodent, which would be common in abandoned shafts. The uncertainty heightens tension as he advances slowly with limited lighting.
It's the only place left.
He navigates increasingly narrow, uneven passages. The risk here is practical, rather than paranormal. Unstable rock, uneven flooring, and the possibility of slips or cave-ins. Each step is deliberate as he balances exploration with safety.
It had to have been a bug. An obnoxious, creepy bug. It doesn't help that I've been listening to Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and spoiler alert, if you haven't read the books yet, you should plug your ears.
Another abrupt sound rings out, again briefly spiking adrenaline before being confirmed harmless. The mine's acoustics distort direction and distance, making routine environmental noise feel more threatening than it is. After confirming the sounds are natural, Miner49ER continues exploring, documenting larger chambers and structural features within the mine. The tension throughout the video stems from environmental risk rather than unexplained phenomena. He reflects on the excitement of discovering an unknown site and the importance of moving cautiously in abandoned, confined spaces. The video concludes with appreciation for the rugged isolation of the landscape and the satisfaction of safely navigating a potentially dangerous but fascinating location. The next chilling video comes from The Wandering Cumbrian, a UK-based YouTube creator who explores Cumbria's countryside, historic landmarks, and quiet villages. While most content focuses on scenic and heritage walks, occasional nighttime visits incorporate local folklore and atmospheric storytelling. It is September 24th, 2024, at St. Peter's Church, Camerton, Cumbria, England.
Guys, I don't feel nervous at all. I maybe will when I get down to the churchyard and start doing the walk and stuff like that, but I should be fine. Touch wood. Yeah, these are, like I said, I was going to mention about a couple of stories. We're going to be coming up to a house. Basically, it's a lodge called Ivy Lodge, and it was a story. I think it happened was it a couple of years back? I think one of my mates told us the crack. I think there was a taxi driver coming back all the way from Camerton, obviously doing his rounds and stuff like that.
The walk begins in the village of Camerton. The creator prepares his torch and an old mobile phone running a spirit communication app. He references local legends, including sightings of a gray lady near Ivy Lodge, and reflects briefly on previous stealth camping experiences in the area to frame the atmosphere. A car pulls up near the graveyard as he approaches, causing him to pause and delay entry. The moment adds tension, not paranormal, but human presence in an otherwise quiet setting.
Yeah, we're just walking past the Campton Hall. Like I said, I'll walk all the way around the hall into the backfield, and then by the time I've walked back up to the churchyard, the guy's gone. So sorry if the video isn't going to plan at the minute, guys. So yeah, I'm going to carry on walking, and I'll catch you a lot in a minute. Yeah, just made it into that field, guys. I'm hoping by the time I've got to the top of this field, that car's gone. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to be hanging around here for too long.
He reaches the churchyard gate and steps inside. The church casts long shadows across the headstones, and trees shift lightly in the breeze. The stillness of the graveyard, combined with low visibility, creates a sense of vulnerability. He comments on the oppressive feel of the space and the impression of being watched, a common sensation in isolated night environments.
Yeah, it is horrible in this graveyard at night time. Well, it would be at night time, obviously. What a stupid thing to say. But yeah, we're just going to walk around and see what's what. Yeah, this is absolutely really sketchy down here, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, a few of the stories down on his churchyard. There's said to be an old lord called, obviously, Black Tom. He's said to be buried in that church. Basically, he was like the Robin Hood of Cumbria. He's said to haunt this graveyard. There's two spots he's meant to haunt, obviously Camerton Hall and Camerton Church. There have been sightings of him in the churchyard by a few people. It's even been logged in the book somewhere. Yeah, like I said, there's been a few stories of
Distant agricultural sounds, likely tractors or machinery, carry faintly across the night air. Rustling leaves and shifting shadows contribute to fleeting visual impressions that seem more pronounced under torchlight.
Yeah, it's getting spooky. I'm getting a bit on edgy at the minute, guys. I'm not going to freaking lie. Like I said, I don't know how long I'm going to bloody last. I could do with a can right now. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. Like, I could do with a bloody can of lager.
The old mobile phone begins displaying words through the Spirit app intermittently. At the same time, lights and camera equipment briefly malfunction. Electronic glitches in low temperatures or low battery conditions are not uncommon, but in the context of a dark graveyard, they amplify the sense of unease. Feeling increasingly unsettled, he decides to leave earlier than planned, prioritizing comfort and safety over extending the visit. The experience at St. Peter's Church is driven more by atmosphere than confirmed paranormal evidence. Darkness, isolation, and folklore shape perception throughout the walk. No clear visual apparition or definitive anomaly is captured. Instead, the tension builds gradually through environmental factors and suggestion. After exiting the graveyard, he reflects on how a familiar, historic location can feel profoundly different at night. The encounter remains psychologically intense but grounded, reinforcing how folklore and setting alone can transform a quiet churchyard into something far more unsettling after dark. The next shocking video of the night comes from Odinson_explores, a UK-based exploration channel documenting unusual natural patterns, tree formations, and subtle environmental features found along woodland trails. It is January 20th, 2026 on UK woodland trails, featuring boggy paths and off-trail sections. The host begins walking along a damp woodland path, pointing out snapped trees that have begun regrowing in unusual directions. Some branches hang suspended mid-trunk, while others twist outward in unexpected angles. The formations appear striking against the muted winter forest. The host remarks that certain shapes look almost deliberate rather than accidental. Wide shots reveal similar patterns, repeating deeper into the trees.
Some of it is wind, but there's a couple of them that are recent, and the wind hasn't been that strong. Plus, there is some patterns in the background as well. It's really interesting. There's one there. Don't know if you be able to see it, but that's the sort of symbol I'm on about, is that one.
He focuses on one particular tree that had clearly snapped at some point, but has regrown in a curved, almost symbolic pattern. The regrowth creates a shape that stands out visually against surrounding timber. The host notes how the structure appears intentional at first glance, though wind damage, snow load, or long-term stress fractures can naturally produce these formations. The repetition of similar shapes nearby adds quiet intrigue.
There is a couple of trees here that actually have a branch dangling from halfway up. There is one or two in there. Like I said, if you see them, you see them. You see the patterns and the symbols.
Continuing along the trail, more dangling branches and oddly angled trunks come into view. The host observes recurring motifs, bent limbs, forked growths, and intertwined branches, appearing across multiple sections of woodland. The density of these formations makes the area feel visually distinct, even though natural woodland processes such as storm damage, fungal weakening, or animal movement can account for irregular growth patterns.
When you're out in the middle of nowhere or out over yonder, you literally have no idea what you're going to stumble across or encounter at the same time.
After finishing the walk, the host reflects on the number of repeated formations observed. Rather than making definitive claims, he expresses curiosity about whether the shapes are purely natural or influenced by external forces, such as human interference or environmental conditions. He suggests returning at night with additional lighting, to capture how the formations appear after dark. The video closes on an open-ended note, not presenting proof of anything supernatural, but emphasizing how forests can produce recurring, symbol-like patterns that spark imagination and invite closer observation. The woodland remains quiet and unchanged, leaving the mystery rooted in perception rather than confirmation. The next video comes from Being Real with John, a personal wilderness vlog channel centered on solo reflection in remote woodland areas. John films unscripted moments in nature, often speaking candidly about mental clarity and solitude. Occasionally, those quiet moments shift when something unexpected interrupts the calm. It is March 7th, 2017, in a remote woodland area in the United States, off the main hiking trail.
I just heard up on the top of the hill behind me. It sounded like a tree being sound like a tree falling, and trees fall all the time.
Before fully introducing the vlog, John is interrupted by a sudden, heavy crash from the hillside behind him. The sound resembles a tree falling. He immediately acknowledges that trees do naturally fall in forests, yet he notes there is very little wind at the time. The crash sounds large and relatively close, originating from uphill directly behind his position. He continues filming as sunset approaches, explaining he came out alone to clear his head. Although the environment appears calm, the earlier crash lingers in his awareness.
Oh my God, I thought I just heard something like a little baby crying, or something similar to that. It could be just been an animal call.
Scanning the hillside, John notices what appears to be a face-shaped form looking down toward him. Positioned exactly where the sounds originated, the shape stands out visually against the terrain. He questions whether it is simply a tree stump, shadow, or natural formation. Despite attempting to rationalize it, he admits feeling chills and keeps the camera focused on the area.
Some markers, tree markers in the area. Odd configurations of branches seem to be purposely placed as a marker or something.
He recalls earlier noticing unusual branch formations that appeared arranged in a deliberate manner. He does not claim to know what caused them, but in the context of the current tension, the memory adds to the unease.
To me, I just saw something move up there where I thought I saw the face. Holy shit. And I got my knife. Leaving now.
The situation escalates when John sees movement in the same spot where the face-like shape had been. His tone shifts immediately. Calm reflection gives way to urgency. He states clearly that his fight-or-flight response has triggered. Grabbing his knife as a precaution, he decides to leave the area while continuing to film his retreat. Throughout the experience, John attempts to rationalize each event: a falling tree, possible wildlife vocalizations, visual pareidolia from natural formations. However, the sequence occurring in the same location, the crash, the crying-like sound, the face-shaped figure, and then movement, builds cumulative tension. No clear figure is captured on camera. No definitive explanation is provided. The encounter remains ambiguous. The vlog ends with John leaving the hillside shaken but unharmed, uncertain whether the experience was environmental coincidence amplified by isolation, or something larger observing him from above. Before we get into the next clip, around 70% of people watching aren't subscribed. We're working toward 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And if you're enjoying the video, hitting subscribe really does help. All right, let's get back to it. The last video of the night comes from Austin Grows Wild, a US-based solo hiking and river fishing creator focused on exploring rugged mountain terrain. His content highlights both the beauty and physical challenges of off-trail adventures, wildlife encounters, and remote river trekking. It is January 10th, 2026, at the Piney River section of the Cumberland Trail, Tennessee, United States.
I know it's beautiful out here. I saw one set of footprints on the trail up there, but no other humans otherwise. It's a perfect day.
Spotting what appears to be a promising fishing location below, he leaves the marked trail and begins zigzagging down a steep, rocky slope. The terrain quickly becomes unstable. Slick rocks, loose soil, and thick brush make footing uncertain. The descent grows more precarious with each step.
Well, the camera was not recording, but I fell over and really messed up my elbow because he's so slick on this big rock here. But this looks like a good spot to fish. My situation is not ideal. I fell down, hurt my elbow pretty good. Had to walk through the creek, the most shallow spot. My boots are soaking wet. I know that the river...
While navigating the wet rocks near the riverbank, he slips and falls. The camera is not recording at that moment, so the incident is not captured visually. He injures his elbow, shoulder, hip, and knee in the fall. The sudden loss of footing underscores how quickly steep river terrain can become dangerous, especially when wet. After assessing himself, he realizes his boots are soaked and he is off the established trail. Rather than panic, he follows a dry riverbed in an attempt to reorient himself. Moving cautiously while injured, he prioritizes steady footing and situational awareness.
That's cold. Had to cross the creek again. I say creek, but it's a dang river. Never underestimate the power of these Appalachian mountains. They've been here longer than the dinosaurs. Millions and millions and millions and millions of years. And when people have the audacity to explore them, like me. But it's fun. Just be careful. That's my TED Talk.
Dense thickets block his progress. He pushes carefully through brush and tangled undergrowth, mindful not to aggravate his injuries. The terrain demands patience and deliberate movement. He ultimately makes it back to the main trail safely. Reflecting on the experience, he emphasizes practical lessons: staying on marked paths, wearing appropriate footwear, carrying spare socks, and respecting slippery terrain near rivers. The encounter is not paranormal or mysterious. It is a reminder of how quickly conditions can shift in remote wilderness. Despite the fall and injuries, he remains composed and grateful. The situation did not escalate further, sharing the experience as a lesson in preparation, caution, and resilience in backcountry hiking. We appreciate you for watching. If these creepy encounters gave you chills, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next drop. There's always another mystery waiting just around the corner.